Those tiny things, tiny little, yeah, tiny, thank you. You have the public comment list.
Like that, it'd be nice to have so many people every council meeting. Well, I don't.
Six o'clock.
All right, good evening, everybody. Let's call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Regular council meeting, November 14th. Everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Good, roll call. Starting at the clock.
Could you put your microphone down so we can hear you?
Oh,
Yes.
Rob Wood,
Adam Haney,
Mark Crouch.
Paul Miller, James Carlisle.
Okay, and Nikki will be absent tonight. The first thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda. There has been some changes. We got some additional information in regards to some of the stuff that Aaron's going to be speaking on it with Dire Engineering and the generator. So we want to actually cover that, and we'll provide the additional detail at a later date. This is stuff that just came in. And let's see what else we have going on here.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to request a change to the agenda.
Yes.
I'd like to change agenda item number 14 from new business to old business, please.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Or within the motion.
Okay. Make a motion, please, Tom.
I'd like to make a motion to change agenda item number 14, the ARPA fund action item from new business to old business.
I second it. Okay, we're gonna vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And now, I'm sorry, which one did you move it to?
Just from old business or from new business to old business.
Yeah,
Agenda item number 14.
we'll just move it to item number 9. All right, I would also like to make a motion to remove, we're going to be very short on time this evening. We've got a lot of big items going on that are going to take a lot of time. So I just want to kind of trim down the agenda tonight, and we'll only be removing, I'm looking forward to removing just one item, and that's the FEMA floodplain, because this is just a request for action, and there's a lot of detailed involvement with it. And I think it could probably wait until the next meeting. So my motion is to remove the FEMA floodplain. Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, any other changes to the agenda for tonight? There is a typo in here, oh, excuse me, correct. There is also another change. Item number 12 is being removed, so I make a motion to remove item number 12 because those funds have already been allocated. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Good. All right, now approval of the minutes. I have a change to the September 16th minutes. Underneath old business, number 7, I stated Mark Crouch, Mayor, motions to close discussion until next council meeting. That's actually until the new council forms. Because I didn't feel it was appropriate that the old council decide the future of elections. So I make a motion to change item number 7 with the text I just stated.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who seconded? Thank you.
Everybody.
Okay.
Any other further discussion on that? Council Ham?
October 10th, I did not see those in my packet.
So was there supposed to be an October 10th?
There was supposed to be, and there is not. And so I created the agenda before I received the minutes, so no, there is no minutes to approve.
And then for September 16th, I took the time to read through the minutes. I also took the time to go back and view the video from that meeting. And I do not believe that these minutes properly document the counselor's comments in general. And I would really like to see those reviewed and updated before we approve it.
You would have to give us some specifics.
Like I said, it's 20 minutes of conversation, and lots of information back and forth. It's more than I want to, if you want me to make some recommendations after the fact, but it's clear that to me and anybody, I mean, I don't know if any of you have taken the time to watch the video, that these minutes don't represent your comments, my comments, or Rob's comments. It whitewashes right over the bulk of those comments.
Counselor Pointer?
There's no real requirement that minutes are forbidden, whether they have council comments in them.
I understand it.
You can have, but minutes,
And I understand what you're saying. I'm not asking for it to be verbatim. What I'm saying is when it comes to other counselors' comments down the line, it refers to things that are not mentioned earlier. So it leaves this like, what are they even talking about? It just does not follow.
May I offer something?
Sure.
So minutes are typically action items, and because you have video, people have the ability to be able to go back and watch certain things. So you can always reference, see timestamp or something like that if you're wanting to point to a specific conversation rather than back and forth dialogue.
I understand that. I've made my point. I just feel like the minutes don't accurately represent what happened at the meeting. And if no one else agrees, we don't move forward.
It's helpful for us if you tell us exactly what the change is so that we can provide you what it is that you're looking for.
I'm more than willing to provide that. I'm not prepared to give that.
It's a council.
I understand, and like I said, I'm not prepared to get those detailed notes right now, but I don't even the opportunity.
Okay, so, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve the, let's go by minutes. Make a motion to approve the September 12th minutes. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Discussion by.
Okay. Did anybody want to discuss those minutes at this point? The 12th, we had a discussion earlier on all the minutes, so that's pretty good. Okay, September 16th minutes. We've had discussion on this. Does anybody want to make a motion at this point?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I move that we hold off on approving these minutes until updates can be made and presented at a future meeting.
okay, would any counselor like to add any additional comments? Or we need a second. Okay, it drops. So I'll make another motion on the table. I make a motion to approve September. Any comments? Okay, it's kind of redundant, but
Reword your motion. To September 16th.
correct. I make a motion to withdraw my motion. Oh, we're doing it right. Is there a second? No second to withdraw the motion. There you go. All in favor, say aye. Yeah. All right. I make a motion to accept the September 16th minutes as amended, as I amended, number 7.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. Good. All right, now that we are at citizen comments. How many people do we have?
We have 11, and I did not receive any comment by email.
Okay. So we're doing this in 30 minutes.
First up, we have Kathy.
Oh, wait, let's see how many minutes we're gonna allow because the comment section is only 30 minutes. By 11. So let's just do it 2.5 minutes. And the reason I'm doing this tonight is we have a really full agenda and we gotta stick to a strict time schedule. So don't take offense when I say it's 3 minutes up and you're done. So, or 2.5 minutes. It is what it is. All right. So the first person.
Kathy Olam, the Angel Tree Senior Stocking Stuffers.
Hi, y'all. Good evening. Mr. Mayor, council members.
Can you lift that up so we can hear you? A little more. There you go.
And I'm just going to read what I wrote. I'm here this evening to thank you for approving that Lakeside Fire Association be the official annual organizer of the Angel Tree and the Senior Stocking Stuffer project that we started last year. There's some information sheets. These are all. What I'm passing around is the application for the Angel Tree and the Senior Stocking Stuffer project that has been at the library, senior center, city hall, and fire department for individuals to pick up. on the cover sheet has a list of the dates for when the tree will be there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Miller, for your donation. Library is getting involved. That are already helping out. Please let Lakeside contact and for all the applicants. So thank you.
Well, thank you for doing it.
Elaine Armstrong, the ARPA funds.
Can I go?
Sandy Lindell.
Yeah.
ARPA funds.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sandy Lindell. And I was born and raised in Lakeside. And I am also a Lakeside resident and a senior center board member. I am requesting that council obligate the ARPA monies towards the senior center complex, which needs the leaky roof replaced, gutters and downspouts, and electrical repairs and upgrades, like new power head, west wall, and its own meter, so usage can be monitored. We also agree with the suggestion to replace the old baseboard heaters with split air heating and AC units, which are extremely efficient and cost effective and will save money on the electricity. The senior complex is a city asset requiring maintenance and upkeep, and using the ARPA funds for this makes perfect sense. I am submitting 4 petitions with 53 signatures collected in one day, asking the council to do this. City council might also include the city hall and library for split air heating and AC as well. Besides being cost efficient, they clean the air too and can be one contract. Please obligate the ARPA funds for this project tonight. I also would like to add that that building has been here since I was in grade school in 1955, 56.
Thank you, Sandy.
Elaine Armstrong, ARPA funds. Elaine, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
All right, I want to talk about the ARPA worksheet that is in your pack. The senior complex is a hard asset of the city, one that needs to be taken care of so it does not deteriorate any further. We all know that it has been neglected for many years. The roof is leaking. Didn't have 5-gallon buckets in the attic. That's the rainwater. I know everyone agrees that the most important thing is the roof, but we also need gutters, electrical weatherhead replacement that's attached to rotten boards. The old baseboard heaters need to be replaced with new improved split air systems that would help lower the electric bill. The city hall area and the library could also be included in the split air. Your list, you were asked to pick 5 items and only 1 is on your list. Instead, they list 75,000 for building maintenance, but does not list what the maintenance is for, and it must be obligated, not a fund line item. 151,000 for staffing premium paid to bring staff pay up over 1 to 2 years. Public safety, spend $100,000, and when the money is gone, what do? Lay off the person because we don't have the money to continue the position. If we had spent the monies on something like the split air systems, it will be still working for many years. Bonus incentive pay, while we value our employees, when you include the fact that the city pays their full PERS benefits and full premiums on their medical, which the state, county, and surrounding cities no longer do. And when you factor in the request that is in your package to close City Hall for 4 extra days during the holiday season, I think the city is a pretty good place to work and the salaries are not that far off once you factor that in. Again, remember the funds must be obligated and a signed contract, not an online item. Decking for the senior building, that's a budget item, and the seniors have agreed to put the cost of the city. so the figure is incorrect. Council commission supplies, I think the city needs to be buying, should not be buying laptops for anyone right now. More important items needed. It could be also a budget item. Generator, this is a needed item and should be on your short list. The cyber tech thing, this is I don't know if this is a one-time charge or will there be yearly fees? You need to have more information on this item. So what I'm saying is the ARPA money needs to be is a one-time windfall for the city and let's be used wisely and should be used to protect the city's risk assets. As stated in the treasurer, as stated in the U.S. Treasury Department guidelines, the priorities of the ARPA funding should be used for investing in long-term community benefits. That's what we do.
Thank you. Yeah. I know it's kind of few comments tonight, but.
Michael Armstrong, resolution 2407.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I would like to address the proposed resolution discussed later cited by Council of 2407. This is essentially grant the city recorder manager the power to alter the job description or amend job description and set salary. However, per chapter 3, section 3 of the charter, only the council can set salary. And also in chapter 3, section 6, all powers of the city is vested in the council. So I would urge you to reject this resolution.
Thank you.
Linda Sherrich.
It's winter.
Actually, I've already had two people who have done the first half, so mine's gonna be much quicker. So in regards to the ARPA funds, instead of using the ARPA funds on several small projects, use it to extend the life of the building that is used by multiple entities of the community. What's gonna happen if that building fails? Where are they gonna go? We don't have it. So a decision must be made tonight and the process expedited for advertisement for bids and approval by the council before the end of December, otherwise gone. So and that's $400,000, almost $400,000 of free money. So I would suggest that you use it wisely. And one more thing, holiday train's going to be going up November 22nd. Hopefully lights on the 24th.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sue Allen, ARPA funds.
Sue Allen?
Yes.
My name is Sue Allen. I have been on council. It's been several years, but I've been on council. I am president of the Lakeside Library Board. I'm also the past president of the Friends of it. The library is very fortunate because they have been able to get donations from local patrons to replace a couple of windows. They need a new door. They need a whole lot of stuff. The heaters are awful. And I'm here to recommend strongly that those ARPA funds be used to improve the infrastructure in this building. This is a public building. The Friends of the Library, our charter is to do things to help the library. We can't spend our money on infrastructure things. We get grants, we raise money with book sales and fundraising efforts. We go out in the community and solicit funding to help the library. This is something that the city should do, but especially because they got all this basically free money from ARPA. Let's spend it to fix this facility so it'll last another 30 years. All I have to say.
Jim Talon.
Hello, everybody, Mr. Mayor, council members, everyone in the audience decided to show up tonight. Thank you. I come before you today to respectfully raise an important question. Isn't it the role of this governing body, the city council, to set policy and not the responsibility of city staff? This question arises due to a recent change in procedure concerning agenda item number 7, citizen comments made by the city manager, who is responsible for creating the meeting agenda. First, let me clarify that while Oregon law does not require citizen comment periods during local government meetings, this council has chosen to permit and encourage public input as part of its policy. With this understanding, I was surprised to see the following policy statement added to agenda item number 7. Quote, comments regarding staff are not allowed, and you may be asked to stop commenting. Staff have due process rights to legal counsel, and notice as appropriate, unquote. Let's examine the statement. As you know, the city manager, like each member of the city council, is a public official. The city manager serves as this council's only employee, while all other staff report directly to the city manager. And as public officials, you are all accountable to the public you serve. And as public officials, criticism directed towards public officials and their staff during the citizen comments is generally an exercise of First Amendment rights, particularly when it pertains to matters of public concern and government accountability. While due process rights protect against government actions that would deprive someone of life, liberty, or property without fair procedures, these protections do not typically extend to shielding public officials from criticism during open comment periods. For a public comment to reach the threshold of violating due process, it would need to pose a specific, credible threat or defamation that unlawfully denies rights, which would be exceedingly rare in these situations. Thus, it is within the rights of citizens to use their public comment time to voice concerns or critiques of public officials or staff, and doing so does not infringe upon anyone's due process rights. In closing, I respectfully ask the following. When did this council, in a duly assembled manner, decide to alter its policy on citizen comments? Did the city manager seek advice from the city attorney on this matter? Or was this policy amendment implemented without proper legal consultation? In the spirit of transparency, which we've all fought for years around here, you ran on it, Mr. Mayor, I suggest the city manager consider consulting with the city attorney or League of Oregon Cities for introducing policies that may infringe on the constitutional rights of all of our citizens. Thank you.
All right.
Renee Towen, Charter Rules.
Good evening, Renee Town, Lakeside.
Renee, are you a citizen of Lakeside?
I am. Can I not speak if I'm not?
You can speak if you're not, but let's present ourselves correctly.
My driver's license says
Driver's
Lakeside.
license says Lakeside, Mayor.
Okay, we're not going to get into this argument tonight.
Wow.
Mr. Mayor and council members, tonight I am speaking in regard to 2 items that are on the agenda before you that are recommended by staff. These 2 items are in violation of Lakeside City Charter. Firstly, I agree with Mr. Armstrong. Agenda item number 15, resolution 2024-07, a resolution granting approval to the recorder manager to fill staffing positions by updating job descriptions and assigning salaries annually or to new hires. Refer to Lakeside City Charter, Chapter 3, Form of Government, Section 11, Salaries. Quote, the compensation for services of each city officer and employee shall be the amount fixed by council. So while Council Rules 8.10 states council staff, quote, recruits, hires, disciplines, evaluates, and motivates employees, it does not give council staff the authority to set salaries. The second item is contained in tonight's staff report under the heading elections. Staff's recommendation is, quote, schedule a special meeting to administer oaths of office, have a celebratory gathering after city certifications and before Christmas. While I'm all for a celebration for the newly elected officials, the timing goes against the Lakeside City Charter. Chapter 6, Elections. Section 29, Commencement of Terms of Office. Quote, the term of office of a person elected at a regular city election shall commence at the first council meeting in the year immediately ensuing the year of his election, unquote. And lastly, I want to note, I've noticed that meeting minutes have not been reflecting who's seconding motions. I don't know if there's a set rule about this, but I do feel in true transparency
That public record should always state who seconded.
Thank you. Next.
Linda Stange. Stange, sorry.
Linda Marie Stange. I've been a resident of Lakeside since 1994, and I've been employed by the Lakeside Library since 2015. I'm here to speak about the ARPA fund. It isn't just a senior center. It's a center for everybody. The vets use it to meet here. The friends use it to meet here. We have other people that have called and asked to meet here, that they have a meeting with somebody that they need to go over stuff. Usually it's some kind of government agency. And so the room is used a lot. So we need to upkeep this building because it's really important. We don't have a community building that's a good place for people to meet or to have a meeting. A lot of times the library uses it for kids' functions. We've shown films. And so we do a lot of things using this entire building. And so please fix the building.
Kathy Reese.
My name is Kathy Reese. I've been a Lakeside resident since 2009. I used to own Rainbow's Lakeside Marina for 13 years. I have been on a lot of city volunteer boards, whether it's the planning commission or budget committee or fire board, whatnot. I've volunteered a lot. I understand it's very hard being on a board and getting criticism, especially when you're volunteering your time and you're not getting paid for it. So my sympathies go to you, and thank you for your efforts in being here. With that being said, these funds that, and you may not all be up to speed on what they are or where they came from, but like Linda said, $400,000 gift, here you go. It's got to get spent. And I think the senior center would be a great place to put it because it does get used an awful lot, whether it's a wedding or the 10 Mile Lake Association does their history, we did their history dinner there once. Well, now we can't because it's leaking. The heaters are a big issue. I mean, you have to spend that money on physical stuff. It can't go into salaries. It's this, it can't. It has to be hard stuff that's going to last for a long time. So I just pray that you all can take the time to allocate those funds to something and actually make it happen before you lose them. Because once they're gone, I mean, you know, we don't have a tax base. We don't have money to spend on a lot of things that we would love to have. We'd love to have a whole brand new senior center or community center if we could, but we don't have that opportunity. So please don't give up on this gift that we've been given and spend it wisely if we can.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the main goal to make sure that those funds are taken care of. Nobody likes throwing out.
Tristan Armstrong, City Operations.
Good evening, Council.
Oh, there she
I'm
is.
speaking tonight to address the Council about concerns I have with city operations. First and foremost, I would like to address the city manager's recommendation placed on the agenda tonight to end the Code Enforcement Committee. As a property and business owner and a resident of Lakeside, I consider code enforcement to be one of the most important issues plaguing Lakeside. The need for code enforcement and all of the tasks associated with it, such as updated and codified ordinances, as well as enforcement, is apparent. Well over 2.5 years ago, the city of Lakeside was made aware of and received several formal written complaints about the property located at 1710 North Lake Road. I myself have spent plenty of personal time reaching out to county and state officials to obtain assistance in dealing with the hazardous public health and safety nuisance at this property. Over the last 2.5 years, the city has continued to let the owners of 1710 North Lake Road terrorize, victimize, and wreak havoc on all the surrounding neighbors. With no action taken, the accumulation of garbage and junk, the nuisance pet disturbances, the drug trafficking, and other criminal activity has increased. Another clear example of the need for continued code enforcement work is the current situation at the airport parking lot. Allowing the homeless to set up camps and dump human waste right into the ground is unacceptable. It is clear from social media response and my conversations with fellow residents that the citizens of Lakeside want action taken. A recommendation to end code enforcement committee, just as new ordinances have been proposed and adopted, with much work needed to get this situation under control, suggests a clear lack of understanding as to what the real issues are in Lakeside. The list of examples demonstrating the inability to properly carry out the duties required as a city manager is long. I have personally listened in or attended meetings where incomplete packets were provided, leaving counselors to make decisions without all of the relevant information. Planning Commission and Code Enforcement Committee meetings have been canceled with no notice and zero explanation. Illegal hiring practices, illegal publication of personal information resulting in potential lawsuit for the city. The list goes on. These are some of the many examples of the incompetent work performed by the city manager. At the September 12th, 2024 meeting, Councilors Carlisle, Wood, and Hand requested a special meeting to address the hiring process for the city manager. Mayor Crouch advised that the city manager would be notified by mail and the special meeting would be scheduled. This has yet to happen, nor has the legally requested executive session to discuss the ongoing poor job performance of the city manager has been scheduled. I urge the city council to hold our mayor and city manager accountable for their actions. The current city managers and mayor's lack of knowledge and government process is proving to be costly for the city of Lakeside.
I'll find nothing funny. You sitting there laughing about this, city manager? And yeah, the only thing watching, you think,
Okay, Mike,
you know,
Mike, come on, you know better.
no,
Yeah, you do. Let's not go there.
let go there.
No.
I'm trying to you, board disrespecting my daughter. You're worthless.
Mike,
You don't know how to run fucking anything.
Mike, come on.
Thank you, Mike.
That, I apologize to everybody for that. This is an official council. This is the government, we need to, I've talked about civility before. Obviously, we need to start thinking about that. We need to start thinking about, this is not a football game. We shouldn't be clapping or going rah, 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 or anything like this. This is a serious meeting. We have serious money here and everything like that. So I just hope, I really hope that somewhere along the line, people are going to really realize that city government is an important piece of the city and should be treated with respect. So anyways, that's enough of my saying that. Any more comment?
No more.
Okay. So that concludes the comment period from the public. Now we're going to go ahead and move on with our meeting. The first agenda item is Aaron. Aaron is going to speak about the wastewater plant and a few other items such as we're going to have more detail in regards to the generator that failed and we need to replace.
Hello, council. Right there, and speaking of the Dare Park trip. All you know me. We've been working on the wastewater treatment plant upgrades from an engineering perspective. So July, we see roughly 90% set EQ. been working through that process with the DEQ engineers, and we have tentative approval. They're ready to issue a final letter. That's one of the main criteria that's needed to go fail to get that project off the ground. We're really close on that. I got final electrical drawings now, and there's a few minor DEQ comments. Little things there. It's not the engineering things we're here to mainly talk about tonight. It's the Business Oregon aspect of it. So Business Oregon is the grant administrator for the state on the ARPA funds, and when the ARPA funds first came out, they were allocated in 2021. City was told they're getting the money, and that they have to follow the process, but the process was released. So as the Senate bill came out, final writings, Business Oregon's been helping the city and the other recipients through the process for ARPA funds over $10 million. In that document, there's some criteria that says that the city has to have a labor agreement in place. But as of the time of grant recipient, the city receiving the award, and today, no one really seems to know exactly what that is. From Business Oregon standpoint or Dr. standpoint. So on the recommendation of Business Oregon, we submitted a exception request to Department of Administrative Services as recommended by Business Oregon, and that was issued in, I gave the letter to the city in October. And I think Business Oregon probably passed it on late October. Got a response letter, which is in your packet now. It has rejected the exemption letter. The caveat there is they said that they need grant funds to a local that will work with the city to create that fund. That is going to be, but it's in the letter that is Krista Miller and Krista and I are working with Business Oregon to navigate through that process. The administration is run through Rena Langston, SOWID, Southern Oregon Workforce Investment Board. So I am thankful that Business Oregon is going to get us in touch with them and help the city get a workforce plan that will meet the AIS ARPA fund requirement. I don't have a lot of information to add to that. We did go ahead and ask the question, how come Dyer and the city wasn't aware of this? And I received a nice email from Carolyn Craig of Business Oregon that stated that prior to Dyer or the city issuing a letter that they had no information from DAS or anyone else working with SOWID, and that everyone's been doing everything they can to be on the ball, so to speak. So much I'd love to report that we got the exemption. We have to work with Business Oregon and Southern Oregon Workforce Investment Board, who was given ARPA funds to administer this.
So I understand that correctly. There's this other organization now that as long as we meet what they want, then it's the project still goes for them.
Yes, sir. That's the way it was explained to me.
Is there's just now another layer of bureaucracy that we've got to deal with.
Yes, and I can't tell you what that's going to be. It could be as simple as they review our bid documents and review those bid documents. Could be that we have to work out. Here, I can't tell you what that is. Our front end bid documents did go to Business Oregon. They received approval pending DAS. The other thing to think, there is an obligation deadline with this ARPA funds. It was originally the same date as the other ARPA funds been discussed, but this is under a different Senate bill. And Business Oregon said that there's an extension on that. I drafted a letter, gave a draft letter to Krista, sent it to Business Oregon. Everyone gave a blessing, so the city needs to get that letter. If you approve it, send it off to Business Oregon. And I would ask the council, if needed, you may need to reach out to Business Oregon and just ask them to confirm that this is the correct path forward. Meyer and Chris are doing everything we can to get the information to Business Oregon. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if you guys could help nudge that along. Yeah. Because it is a lot of money.
I'll send an email to Carolyn tomorrow.
If you have any questions or concerns on that, let us know. Our goal is to help them and stand up. We're trying. I don't think Krista or I had weren't expecting that letter. That letter went back through
multiple agencies before we released. And they mentioned that we're, City of Lakeside, the guinea pig, in fact, we're the first ones to submit that. So
Make the rules as you go.
that's kind of what's going on there. Back to my list here, so. Yeah, the DIS has to basically work through, get a labor agreement in place. I have reached out to several contractors who bid the project, and they believe they can meet those requirements. So it's just a matter of, it could be as simple as adding a couple paragraphs to the bid documents. We just received a letter on the 12th. So I've not had time to respond to that. And did issue the letter to the city to request the extension. I'm gonna keep falling back upon our weekly and see if we could get something right tonight as soon as possible. We did submit an overall cost on 9/20/2024 for phase one. The original grant estimate from 2021 was $14,628,685. Roughly at $15,213,200. There is a gap over there of $584,000. We've been working with Citizens Oregon for supplemental funding to supplement that. They have an application form, which I have a copy of, but they suggest that you do not submit that until after you receive bids. If the city does, the county, the city has 14.628 million of ARPA funds. So they want to see what the bids are and then come back with a funding package. Supplement that later. And Chris, did you get a copy of if you don't have the application, they're going to give it to you. And I can help you fill it out. So this Oregon's protocol, they're going to keep sending it to you, but if you get questions, don't be afraid to reach.
Right, appreciate that.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll help with supplemental funding. With supplemental funding, keep in mind, the question about the budget, the original rate study that Steve Donovan did assumed at the end of all the plant upgrades would be up to $10 million minimum, and that reflected in your rate study. So there's questions about how you pay for the $504,000 overage on phase one. It was anticipated from a budget standpoint, your rates would pay.
Right, we do have money in that. Good money in there for that.
Aaron, may I add a little bit to that? I don't know if you're done, but Carolyn had said yesterday that there was a $600,000 deficit and that we would need to, again, increase our rates in order to pay for a loan if we were to go after that. Could you speak?
I don't know if she has she probably has the data when we first filled out the original ARPA plans. So I don't know if she has the information. You've been raising your rates every year since then.
Okay.
I don't believe that she has.
She said the public finance officer was going to get a hold of me to go over that because they just went over the budget documents and it wasn't enough to cover the new $600,000.
Yeah, I'll have to work on that. It's part of the underwriting. They'll ask for that. They'll probably ask for some audit information.
Yep.
As far as I know, the city at the time of the rate study anticipated up to $10 million in loan. So upcoming goals is to get confirmation to go to bid. We're pretty much ready to go. Like to get a bid, get an award, and get underway. Even if we do get the extension of the obligation, doesn't extend the completion date of September 2026. As of right now, I don't see any issues with that. If you award in January, February, the contractor's going to go through equipment procurement there to start that physical work until April. But we're at a time where we need to push with Citizens Oregon, and we're going to do that. And we have to reach out to Krista and/or council mayor to get some. So that's all I had on the ARPA wastewater plant. You guys have any questions?
I just wanted to add a little bit from the attorney. So I think there was a question about authorizing the bids to go out.
Yeah, I did have a question. I wasn't sure if council has to give approval for Krista to advertise. That's something that she has the authority to advertise for bids, not award the bids, advertise.
So Gary's opinion was what was the level of involvement to this point with the council And have we been regularly talking about it? He said if yes, then probably it's authorized, but if not, and I would default to not, that we would just get an approval to when Aaron is ready to send those out. Or do you?
And my question, the fact that council hasn't been involved, Aaron's been providing regular updates all throughout the whole process, so.
Right,
That,
we just haven't talked about it since I've been here.
yeah, but it's been regularly talked about. But if we need an approval, we'll just do it. That's fine. I don't want to delay anything because of it, though.
So there, that's what the generator and pump station, one. Buddy informed me that the generator had failed. He's exhausted his efforts with reporting to me to get that generator repaired and received quotes and sent those to me. The my interpretation and review of Chris is that normally that has to go through the public bid process. My concern is that if power outage happens, you have a strong possibility of having a sewer door. And you would declare that, I recommend you declare that as an emergency to get the generator forward. Quote is in line with other quotes that I've seen from Bunker Hill and other areas. It didn't seem out of line, but as far as if we have to go through a bid process, we do that, it's gonna take several months to get that forward. Even if you get it ordered today, it's not gonna be immediate. So from my engineering perspective, yes, that should be an emergency to get taken care of. Our Krista recommends to get it through city approval for purchasing. First tweet to that. But I do concur that if that generator has failed, and you can't, and it is old, can't get parts for it, you gotta get the generator down.
So you're saying that the replacement of the generator is an emergency?
I would leave it an emergency.
This point, I would like a motion in regards to the emergency generator, declaring that the emergency generator is, from a council person, is an emergency. So somebody would like to make that motion?
I move that we make this generator replacement and proceed with the ordering and purchase of the.
I second it. Would any of the councilors like to make a statement?
How old is the generator right now? It's like 40-something years old, something like that?
Yes, I'll take it.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
It was hit with lightning, I guess, and so it's been kind of cattywampus for about 10 years, and we had people come out and test it. It will not. The coils.
What weather conditions you have now, that's the reason I would.
Yeah.
You're right, it's emergency, whether today or tomorrow, you fail.
Any further discussion? I close discussion. All in favor of declaring the generator an emergency person, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. There you go. Anything else you'd like to add, Aaron?
No, I just wish we could, that letter's kind of new.
Yeah, that's quite the shocker.
Like I said, I did reach out to him just to make sure that you've been involved in this learning as well.
Right.
They went off the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I want to express patience with this org. It's been great. They're very transparent. This is a new process. The funds don't come all the time, and there's a process. We're gonna involve in.
I know you mentioned that these current issues should not delay the final finishing date of the project, but can you give us like in the public kind of an update on the time frame when they might see building start and when how long that may take?
April. And if you award contract, you open this in January, roughly 30 days to get contracts together. The 30 days covers a 7-day protest period for bids. And then our office will put together contracts, send them to the contractors, and issue bonds, and all that information is reviewed. Then with execute contracts will be in February. And as fast as they're willing to move, they can start moving and moving sand and prep it, or they can elect to wait and get equipment procured
when I say procure equipment, we're gonna have to order pumps and order piping. It's really up to the contractor. There's a lot of piping, manhole, that kind of work that they had staff ready to go. They could have like start early as day after we get the notice.
The short answer is in the first quarter of next year, we should really.
Don't want to start digging, in the middle of winter. They're gonna wait until April, but they're gonna be ready to go by April. And they would get building in the upper concrete of the north side going. And I say that because contractors like to make money. So I think the best way for them to make money is to get out of the ground in early April, get the concrete going. And then get the building footprint built so that they can carry over to the next winter. That's going to be rising. Thank you. Well, we'll get through that.
You mentioned earlier that we're the guinea pig on this program you were talking about.
Yes.
So what's the process of this then, if we're the guinea pig?
Well, I think you're a guinea pig because the city was one of the first ones to execute contract for engineering. So it was like 6-8 months ago, a lot of my report should absorb was that a lot of cities hadn't awarded contract and started design yet. So they went through a process to extend some of the deadlines. And so the city's been out in front as far as having the engineering done. Now you get the contracts first. And now they're advising us to write a letter for exemption. And that exemption that they have in their law, I'm not a lawyer, but it has some language in it that you can't get exemptions if you're a non-metropolitan area. And it's very clear that Lakeside is not a non-metropolitan area. And it says if you can demonstrate hardships, which we did demonstrate those hardships, then they thought it was going to get accepted. Nobody knew that the people that allocated the ARPA funds also allocated grant funds to this other local organization specifically to address that problem. So the people that issued the Senate bill of the state, they're looking at it as like, well, we gave money to an entity to take care of this problem. Why haven't you reached out to them? We're just simply like, we didn't know that there was an option. So my question to them was, why did they reach out to the city? And I don't want to push too hard on that. Ultimately, we need to get the contact with that through and resolve this issue and get it.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron.
So the next item on the agenda is.
Excuse me, Mayor.
I'm sorry.
Did we want to approve the bids when they come out? When Aaron is ready for them to go out, do they need to come back here or are you giving me authority to go ahead and put those out? To approve them?
So you need authority to approve the bid?
To issue.
Not to award them, for them to go out.
Yeah,
For bid.
the job description. Or, I'm sorry, what do you want?
For the bids that Aaron is going to put out?
The Dyer had to get approval from the council. For Dyer to issue a newspaper advertisement to advertise the wastewater treatment plant.
Right, and then Gary said if they've been involved all the way, it wasn't needed, right?
Gary plates that it was courtesy to ask council.
Correct.
Right. All right, shall we make a motion? Would the council like to make a motion to?
I move that we allow our city manager to issue a request for the plant.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. We're open for discussion. Would any councilor like to make a statement? Okay. It's up for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're on 9A, which was the ARPA funds. So we're moving that forward to 9A because that's actually old business. And go ahead and pull out the worksheet that was provided. Here's the worksheet. I think we should move forward on the sheet if everybody is in agreement that we make motions to approve either a grouping of projects or individual projects, not the whole sheet itself. If everybody's okay with that or not. So instead of just making a motion on the full worksheet in one, make motions on approving COVID funds for senior roof or that type of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've noticed the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So we heard a lot of comments tonight and about this. Right now, we're gonna just do a little bit of general discussion on how we'll proceed with this. Do you want to go down the list, each one? Or does people want to, do councilors want to make statements in regards to, in general, the direction we should go with this? I mean,
I'll make a statement that
Sure.
certainly, I think this facility is top priority. We can't really assign a number to anything until we get some bids back. We've had 2 people look at the roof already, electricians, so we don't have the information yet, the numbers yet. But so we can't really put a number to each project yet.
But
I believe that this facility is up.
Okay. I would say any capital expense we definitely need to do because that's something that will provide us in the future. And I would agree with the building. I mean, that is a priority. And these are things just in general. I know some of the funds have already been allocated or spent. So do we even need those on the sheet anymore?
So you asked me to put what was
Right.
from the meeting on here and so I put that as we're starting to condense down
Right.
everybody's ideas. And what I understood this sheet was for priorities and
Right.
I know that everybody's anxious to get to this portion. However, we do have Mr. Tony on the line from LCOG to talk to you about your IT
Right.
services.
And that is one of the items. So why don't we listen to Tony? This is the item where it says cyber IT increase or website billing. And it's the $30,000 cost
Estimate.
And all these are estimates. We understand that.
Oh, let's see. Let me go start my video. All right.
Hello.
Hi there. Can everybody see me okay?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Well, greetings. I am Tony Shireman, an employee of Lane Council of Governments, or LCOG. I'm a network administrator, and a significant portion of my role is to support several other cities with their IT needs. As part of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Lakeside and LCOG, yesterday I conducted a review of the information technology equipment there in Lakeside. The purpose of the evaluation was to check on the status of the equipment for its suitability, fitness for current needs, and security. In terms of suitability, while the equipment is in place and functional, a few workstations were noted as outdated and missing updates and device management software. While city employees can conduct business, the fitness and limitations of the current software and systems is leading to challenges with employees being able to complete work in an efficient manner. For governmental agencies across the nation, security is one of the most important areas where assistance is needed. Recent statistics show that the cost of a security incident can cost over $1 million to fix, may lead to irrevocable loss of city data, and lead to almost a month of downtime while the city may be unable to conduct its business. As part of my role, I see malicious emails, ads, and websites across these networks on a daily basis. Having not only updated equipment, but also Managed and monitored technology assets is critical to preventing an incident. While these cybersecurity incidents are increasing, modern security control. Sorry, what was that?
We can still hear you.
We can still hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. These modern security controls are a requirement of working online. Without them, your costs for cybersecurity liability insurance significantly increase. I also noticed that the ability to receive alerts for recorded camera activity, to review the footage and easily provide that footage to authorities is challenging or impossible. Without this ability, city property may be damaged or stolen with limited or no ability to determine what happened. For city business, documents and emails, it is important that this business be conducted on a city-managed device. Allowing employees to use personal or unmanaged devices can present a security risk, as what happens on personal devices cannot be controlled by the city. This could allow an attacker to access, modify, or delete data. Worse yet, an unsecured account could allow an attacker to impersonate the compromised person and attempt to commit financial fraud against the city. Much like a home or vehicle, these assets need maintenance, management, and review. While you can get by without performing this work for a while, eventually it will catch up with you. You will pay for it one way or the other. While the cost of this updated equipment and software may seem high, the investment in IT systems saves money by ensuring that city data is protected, computers are properly managed, and employees can work and provide services to residents in an efficient manner. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, so open it to the council for questions. No. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. How would we like to proceed? Just at the top of the list and go down, or we want to rank each of these individually?
Let's rank them individually.
I feel like each one of them deserves to be short discussion.
Yeah. Okay, let's just start up at the top. When we go through each of them as far as a short discussion, like Adam said, then what I'd like everybody to do is to rank them, starting with number 5 as most important down to number 1. We only really want to do 5 at this point to get out the top ones that we want, and then we'll do the other ones on down the list. If you start at 5 as the most important, we can just add up the numbers if you're running into any problems about, which is more important than the other. Good. So, and I'm not going to call it senior roof anymore. I'm going to call it community center roof. Would anybody like to discuss that item? I think we all know about this one. The roof is leaking.
Yeah.
It's an emergency. We need to fix it.
But by Monday, we'll have the second.
And by Monday,
Some of them will know where we're at there, and it's maybe, or maybe less.
Yeah.
That's it. At least then you have a starting point of what you have to work with.
Okay, good. The next one is building maintenance, City Hall, library, community building. Could you clarify a little bit more about what those items would be?
For example, we have some electrical. There's some electrical issues. We've got windows that can be addressed. That also helps cut down on heating. What was recommended by staff is that the panel here be updated and the electrical off of the community building be removed. There is no stopgap between the other building and here. Apparently when it flooded, it was surprisingly that nobody was electrocuted because there was no way to shut the power off. So I don't know, there has been estimates many times over the years and it's never been a priority. And I don't know what that cost at this point, but that is that is their number one request. Again, it's just kind of condensing down to like trying to get more input about what it is that you guys are looking for. That was the number one ask.
Okay, and we can get bids out on this sometime, to meet the deadline.
The electrical, I believe they have already come and we're just waiting for the estimate on that.
Okay, staff premium pay.
So part of the ARPA fund, there's 3 sections of the ways that you can spend the money. Some of that is capital improvement. The other section is premium pay. And it helps attract and keep people in their jobs. And I just want to reemphasize, this is not new money to your budget. It's already what you guys passed. We're just pulling things out of the budget that already exist. So if you don't have $389,000 to go to capital improvements, we can't spend that. So I tried to sprinkle it around for what's already existing in your budget. So premium pay, my recommendation was pay the person who keeps us certified, the public works director, although they're not always level 3 certified. You can call that a operator director type. Anyway, that position is sitting at about 90 to about 120, which is why I put the salary study also from 2022 LOC's salary study in there, so that you have an understanding of like what industry standard is. When I put that job out from the last published job description and pay, we did not get any response. And I recruited hard on all of the associations. We paid to put it out on Indeed. We put it in lots of places, and people are not going to sign up for that level of certification and experience for what we're offering. And so there was 2 different types of jobs that we've had in the past, public works and then operator, and I put both of them out. So an increase of 50,000 on top of what we're already paying at 48 to 51 would help secure that position, because right now we have to contract out to keep us certified.
So you're saying 15,000?
50.
50,000, okay. But that will secure us the person for that. And then in 2 years, when the COVID fund money runs out, or a year?
Sorry, the 41, so an increase from, if we use the top tier 51 and this 41, I believe you could secure somebody.
And this is for the sewer plant person. Okay, and what happens in a year or so? Will we have money in the budget?
Here's the great thing about like some of the IT stuff that we talked about yesterday was, even though that's an initial investment, we can do things more effectively, get better deals on things. We can consolidate a lot of redundancy and expense that doesn't need to be out there. And so I think it's just rebuilding the blocks in a different way. We're cutting down costs in other areas and rebuilding it.
Okay, good. And this is all specifically to the wastewater plant. This premium pay.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Okay, council.
Mayor?
I'm sorry.
The question of what happens in a year or two when the SARFA, because you were just talking about a supervisory position at the wastewater plant. Their position is funded out of wastewater funds, not out of the general fund.
Correct.
Yeah.
And here I was saying you could do that over the pay allows you to do it over a 2-year period if you wanted to. So if you broke that in half, even offering 70 for 2 years, the money is already there. Actually, you have $100,000 allocated in that position. And it's already there. Like I said, we're just pulling things that already exist and just saying, this is the thing we're spending it.
Yeah, the wastewater plant is very easy to, make up the difference in the future, so, okay. Council, any other questions? I'm sorry, I don't want to cut anybody off here.
I feel like that line 3, if it's specific to that wastewater plant, that brings it up the priority list in my mind.
And we'll go through them all first. Council commission supplies, this one. What is this about?
So this is also to bring in equipment. So like you heard Mr. Tony talk about devices and things like that, bringing personal devices for people to work on is not a secure thing. And the planning commission has requested personal devices for city issued devices to work on. It gives you, the Robert's rules. It gives you all of the tools you need to do your job, whether it be a $200 or $300 laptop or.
And you could also put them in books too, right? Instead of using laptops.
What do you mean a book?
Paper book, like your council type of thing, instead of putting it on the laptop, that's what you're getting at, right? As far as storing of information.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
While you were thinking, it's no comments means no comments. Oh my God.
We're Sandy.
Okay, excuse me, Nikki, Sandy, totally uncalled for, and you know that, so. No, Sandy. My apologies. I was shocked. I was shocked that was you because we're gonna be on council, so. Sandy, come on. All right, we were talking about the need for laptops or tablets or whatever for commissioners and counselors. We've always done it by paper before. I kind of wonder where the value is there.
So what is the security thing? And number two, if we're asking for you to receive email, are you looking that up on your home thing? Are you saving all of your city business on your home computer that it's actually government property? And so what would happen is if we issued you a laptop and you wrote your emails and you wrote your documents and all of the communications that you have, you save your files, and now you're no longer on a board or commission, then LCOG would then wipe it and reissue it to the next person. But that way it is, we're being responsible with government documents.
Because I would assume that if the planning commission had emails, then, they would just get normal emails. And you're saying them personally getting emails is a security risk?
They need,
On a city email?
they need a city issued email because again, we don't have any way for records request for personal emails.
Right.
And sorry, one more thing, also that they have the ability, they will not manage personal devices. So for example, if a commissioner or a counselor said, hey, I was working on this thing and can you help me with it? No, they cannot. If you lose it, something happens to whatever you're working on, they will not help you.
Okay. Counselor.
Now, doesn't everybody on council or on these other committees have citywide email, correct?
The commission does not. And now we all have, so.
Yes.
Which was a really good move. Counselor Head?
Oh, we alleviated some of those concerns when all council got official city email, and that tracks, it stores all of our communications through that. And is the concern with private devices does that really come up when they come and try to connect into the city network? Because I don't see that happening very often.
And phishing expedition, so you get a scammy email, you get any sort of, the way, we don't have, well, I don't know if you broadcast what our security issue is, but it is an issue for people to have personal devices, personal emails, and that if you don't, want to do that, that's a risk that we're gonna know that, what, down the road, that may be a thing.
Maybe I just don't understand the risk well enough. I don't. Yeah, I'll just admit that's.
Now we got cybersecurity going on, and now we're talking about everybody getting a laptop. Isn't that what we have cybersecurity for?
No, the laptop would be monitored by LCloud to where they will see the traffic that goes on the laptop you have every time you connect. And therefore they'll ferret out all the phishing and all that kind of stuff. So that's my understanding of it, is because when you're hooked up with that, you have something now monitoring what's going on with your electronic device. So that is it. And then again, paper, but it's, I just wanted to get all the facts out there. Are we good with that one? Okay, the next one is public safety. And I'm assuming this is for a code enforcement officer and other type of law enforcement activity.
Correct. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to nail down Reed's Port in time, or if you guys wanted to look at some sort of security, some sort of code enforcement officer or that. But we do need somebody that is going to be able to go to the camps and knock. For example, I have called the mobile crisis line for an individual 3 times in the last 2 days, and 911, and they won't.
Yeah, nobody's going to go to our city anymore. Okay. We've had a pretty good discussion about the cyber with LCOG. Any further discussion on that? No. Okay. Bonus incentives for professionals, development staff. Am I assuming this is paying for training?
This is the current part of it, is current staff that we have to incentivize them to get upper level certification. We have an emergency in operators around the state, and we need people to cross-train and be available. Right now, we have one person that is fully, well, not even fully trained. So we have 3 people that are capable of doing that, and we can't force people to get certifications, and we don't want to let people go in an emergency and a crisis, and they've been with us for a few years. So it's an incentive to get them that certification.
And what do we pay for their training?
I don't think it's something that we have to. It's just, yeah, I think so. It's just go take the test, so it's travel and maybe take some time off to go over the test.
Okay.
But why would you not want to get certified and hold your position? That's my opinion.
I will say that the fail rate is 80%. So it is really, it is a very tough test. So people aren't just signing up for it.
Is the 10,000 listed here intended to cover a group of employees, or is just one employee in mind, or?
It was intended for all people, like flagging certification that is needed in our street department, wastewater, and then also incentivizing a city clerk to become a municipal recorder.
So I understand the way it will work is we'd say to whatever staff member, we think it's a great idea if you had this additional training qualification. And for whatever reason, you're not stepping out on your own, so we're gonna just offer you a cash bonus to go do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna group these together because I think we've already spent the money on these. And that's the deck, the hot water tank, the manholes. And we can assume this money's already been spent, right? Or allocated.
Already paid.
Obligated, yes.
The generator is on its way and the deck is on its way and the manholes and hot water tank have.
This generator is the generator we.
Correct.
Yes.
So we might want to lump the deck, the hot water tank and the manholes all in one category altogether if we make a motion. Okay, I'm just trying to simplify everything down. All right, where is? Okay, well, let's, at this point, does anybody have any additional questions? Council Ward?
We had talked at one time about possibly. Out here, is that included in any of these items?
So LCOG also can get us a very good deal on a copier for about the same price. I will have, he said that he would like to look at the specs between what Bay Area Copier gave us and what he could get. And we could include that also in that 30, or you can move some things around.
Yeah, let's put it in there. So let's just say IT is 35 now. Would that be a fair assessment? If we're including the printer?
If we're doing a lease, we're looking at around $200 a month-ish. And if we don't want to buy it, because then you end up with a dinosaur at the end and nobody wants it, and you can't get rid of it. So you want to lease a copier.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last week.
So it's not going to increase it that much. All right, so just so I'm sorry, Council Ward, did you Tim?
Just one more thing. It was brought up during public comments that we should really focus on actual hard items and not just line items. And I wonder how that works publicly. How do we allocate that fund between now and December?
If we
I don't
put
know how
out,
that's feasible, and I'm wondering.
That's a good question. It was one of the things that you guys wanted to bring.
so
And
can-
so we
can
can,
put out a job description and hire.
we would, can I go grab the budget really quick and give you a solid answer and can you talk about?
Yeah, I mean, currently, at one time, get some sort of numbers from what they give us.
$254,000 that includes $75,000 vehicle.
And we're still waiting on something to reach for.
So, while he's getting the budget, I think it might be a good idea to kind of just for ourselves rank items as what you guys think are your priorities and, go from 5 most important down to 1. Just so we have it in case there's any conflicts or anything like that. I think it's gonna be something rare.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I just looking at these, I wondered if it'd be something to look at, put this, community center roof and building maintenance as one item.
That's about.
It almost doubles
You go over 100,000. You go over 100,000, that's a different bidding process.
Oh, right. But I do recommend find something that you can actually look at and say, okay, this is what we got done, instead of, okay, we're gonna do laptops here, or we're gonna do something else here. But if we can get something done that people can look at and say, okay, yeah, we fixed the senior center, that's something that everybody in this room want. And everybody in Lakeside, I'm sure, besides just this room, I said,
The community.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, but that way we can actually have something to say, okay, this is what we did.
The median age of Lakeside is something, so it could be.
That's right. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, well, and also it makes business sense too. You always want to be able to, anything you purchase, to be able to last more.
Absolutely.
Is there any thought that, you know, the senior center roof and some of these building maintenance issues have real potential to turn into much bigger projects once we crack the roof off? And
It's always that thought.
I mean, I think it's probably probable. And that, is there any reason we would bump up that building maintenance number, like 25, just to. We're able to take care of it.
Well, remember, we do have to obligate.
No. Give us a little leeway.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just assume we don't find rot in that building. Yeah. You think?
So bump that up to 100,000, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that was just my thought.
Because, yeah, once you open that roof, you never know what's inside. Especially a building that old.
So, Krista, what were you looking at in the budget?
Public safety.
Public safety.
Because right now you have code enforcement in community development fund for sci-fi for one at 22,000. We still have a supplemental budget that we are presenting next month. And as much as the fund allows for changes, we could make adjustments there, but we're gonna have to pull it from somewhere else. So it is, you give me the input and I will make the changes and present you with the input that you've given me.
So we can put a line item underneath materials and services, is what you're saying, is what you're looking for?
You could just increase the line item 5541,
Oh,
but we will have to take it from somewhere else. But you can, there is a limit on how much you can change your supplemental budget. The total fund amount. So there's that part, streets, you could also have some funding in. You could also do it for administration a little bit. It wouldn't be solely like, here's 100,000 for office work.
okay, so we'll make changes to the different parts of the budget. Okay, so priorities. What's people's number one priority? I put down number one was the community center.
Absolutely.
I did too.
Okay,
I agree, but I personally put the ones that are already spent as the top priority.
so yeah, okay, so the ones that are already spent, we can take those.
But
That's a good, but very good point.
I just want to make sure that we are allocating those.
No, I know, you were putting it in because you were doing the whole fund. I got your account.
Okay,
No problem there. We're just kind of mixing it, now we're just working on what we should do. Okay, so good. So $24,570 are allocated. And so I'll do the first motion, and then you guys can do the other ones. I make a motion to use COVID funds for the deck, the water tank, and plumbing in the community center and the manholes. So open for discussion. Okay. We're voting on the motion to include the deck, water tank, and manhole covers in the COVID funds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Did we not want to include the generator in that number?
Wasn't that an emergency thing we passed earlier?
Yeah, we just passed that one, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you want to include it in that one? We can just include it in the sum. It's a bigger amount. I think.
motion to amend.
Okay, make a motion to amend the generator to those three items. Second, okay. All in favor of the amendment to the motion?
Discussion.
Discussion on it? Is there any discussion? No? Okay.
What's the difference between the emergency resolution that we just passed, or not resolution, but
One is using COVID funds and the other is, we got to do it.
absolutely.
So that's the difference between the two. So, all in favor of amending the motion? Say aye. Aye. So the motion is now in front of us as having the deck project, the hot water heater tank, the manholes, and the generator. Using those projects, using COVID funds for those projects. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So that will be 84,570.
Would you repeat what you just said, please?
So we just made a motion to use COVID funds for the deck, the water heater, the manholes, and the generator. And it was 100% unanimous. Alan made the second.
You had a number.
Oh, I added them up, and that would be 84,570. Okay. So then what would be our next priority? Do we want to do a count on it, or are we pretty much in agreement on the senior roof? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move that we allocate $990,000 from the COVID funds to repair the senior roof.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, $99,900. Sorry, folks.
So for a discussion, any counselors would like to make a statement or comments? Discussion is closed. All in favor of allocating 99,900,000 to COVID funds for the repair of the senior room? Say aye.
Aye. That's the
Community center. I'm trying and I'm practicing getting used to saying that. We should dedicate the building to somebody.
Yeah,
you know, so we can actually call it what it is. So 173,570 is what we've spent. I think that's right.
Thank you.
184. Okay. Building maintenance. Adam had made the suggestion that we bump that amount up to $999 and $900.
Yeah. Just under a meal. I agree with, I think we've done that, yeah. Let's have a motion.
Well,
Not yet.
we just discussed, now we can, Mr. Miller would like to make a motion.
Oh, yeah, I'll make a motion that we, use, $99,900 for building maintenance. The community center.
The community center is open for discussion. Would any of the councilors like to make a statement? No, I'm closing discussion.
Okay.
Who seconded?
Okay, all in favor of using $99,900,000. Hope I got that right. For the COVID money, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
What's our total at?
So 3, 6, 5, I'm sorry, 3, 8, 9, 7, 4, 2, 50 by how much, Rob? We're seeing how much we have left.
Oh.
Yeah. I got what you spent.
Roughly,
So we're down to $105,000 now.
Total.
389,742.50. And that, the other portion already spent was the storage container out there.
On my priority list, it really dialed down to between two different things for that last 100,000. I feel like the cyber security increase stuff is super important, but I have a hard time putting it as a priority over public safety. So I feel like that would be my priority for that last 100,000.
The cyber, oh, you're talking about all the 400,000 and
I'm just saying,
30,000.
I'm saying we only have about
105,000.
to go. I would love to be able to fund both of them, but how do you put cybersecurity and physical security?
Well, it's not just cybersecurity, it's actually giving us the software to do our job because we don't have the software. We don't have Microsoft. We are really just kind of running on autopilot.
We don't have Microsoft in our office.
We have a desktop version that the emails don't work, they don't sync. It is leaving us very vulnerable. It is a huge security issue. There's no two-factor authentication. There is a lot of issues not being set up there. We can't sign into any sort of Microsoft. There's lots of old accounts to clean up.
We actually got hit too.
No,
it's a tough one.
I mean, that's why I started my comment with it, you know what I mean? Right now on my list, that's priority, but we got, if we're gonna fund both the public safety and cybersecurity, that puts us in a position of having to potentially bring the public safety one down
No heating.
by 25,000, which would leave us at 75,000 at public safety.
The $100,000 for public safety, what is that? Come on, what is that?
Right?
What, the $100,000 for public safety, what would you do with that?
That is an estimate to cover either a code enforcement officer, a security officer, supplies for that position, whatever. If I could get Reedsport on board, I have contacted them a couple of times and I'm not getting a response at this point, so I don't know. I don't even think that we could ask who's to say, hey, we have, you know, X amount of dollars, could you increase something over here? I think you would have to, you know.
But the possibility of getting this done by December 31st. I don't see that.
You could put
happening.
it,
I don't,
But maybe you see that possible.
if you, it depends on, are we doing this full-time or part-time? If you're doing a part-time code enforcement officer, there's a potential to partner or maybe with another city. I don't know what theirs looks like. You know, I could reach out and find out.
So it's possible to find a code enforcement officer.
Sure.
What about a safety officer? Like for the homeless and that kind of thing, or would you use the code enforcement officer for that?
Yeah.
Heating.
Okay.
I think probably that was, when we bumped up the building.
Building maintenance to
By
100,000.
25,000.
And again, please, no. And we got a long night, you know.
Lisa, right. That
Yeah.
building is almost as designed. It
And it-
needs and air fit.
Just find out if he's authorized under ARPA, what you're doing.
Right.
That's a good question. For those.
Public safety is something that's authorized.
That's not, plus to know what happens up to the end of the year, where how is that money funded?
You're gonna have people quit. If you want me to leave, I'll leave. I don't care.
Please.
No. People are just sitting here.
Okay,
Saying,
let's call a recess. I don't know. For 3 minutes. There was concern in regards to building maintenance, heating, air split, air conditioner and stuff like that. We purposely raised that amount to cover different items such as that. And, you know, like I said, we're, you know, at a meeting going on here, I wouldn't treat you guys that way. I wouldn't, you know. So I would expect the same. Same.
so is there a bid out there for, the electrical, the gutters or anything else? Or it's all
There, no, there was a bid that was designed today. Oh,
Never resumed the meeting yet.
I did. I called it back to order.
Okay.
Okay, so can everybody hear? Yeah. Very, very good. Jim, you had asked about, things like the heating and cooling.
the heating, the cooling,
Some people have already looked at that. And as I said before, these have to be obligated by December 31st, so we need to you know, whatever bids we need to get them right away.
I mean, you put a brand new roof on a building, but you don't have heat or anything else in the building, so.
Well, but you do.
We do, but.
Yeah, it's just not very good. All right, what was the next item? Where were we at? Or we?
We had 105,000 and we were discussing how we might choose to split them up between public safety and cybersecurity.
Right, and there was some discussion about whether we could actually obligate public safety.
You could also do some contracted services.
So as far as ARPA goes, if we just take the money from contracted services, that's considered obligated?
No, you have to have an intergovernmental agreement, even if like they allocate 10,000 towards, you know, streets for, let's say, code enforcement, you would still have to have an IGA to consider it obligated.
Right, so would we have time to use it?
An IGA between ourselves, I would think so.
Between ourselves?
Yeah.
Just for the sake of discussion on the public safety thing, I know there's at least one business owner in town who's been really concerned with some activity in the streets, and they've taken a couple steps to get quotes on private security and then kind of look into what that might look like. And they said that that would cost them, if they were, you know, as an individual, about $3,600 a month to get 4 hours of patrols that might, 4 hours a day of patrols that might at least put some sort of presence on our streets. And that could maybe be a short-term solution. Because right now, I mean, I got a report yesterday of a guy slinging a chainsaw around there. I mean, how do we not start to consider that an emergency right along with her?
Mhm.
As far as bidding process and stuff?
Contracted service. 3,600.
That was just like the quick information. they
Yeah.
got. And then this citizen was asking me about potential bringing that conversation to a future council.
I think you can spread, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you can spread it out through the contracted services, because again, it's already in your budget. You're just spreading it out over streets, over community services, over general. Let's say if you, you know, even if it's 4 hours a day, 5 days a week or something like that for the 3,600, 4,000, you're not even gonna hit that number, right?
Okay, well, I know that we can actually fulfill the cyber thing. Because we can sign with Elkhart right away.
We're already signed with them, but what we approved last time was for them to manage our stuff. The stuff that we have to purchase is on up and above the managed service. So any supplies or software or video surveillance, which would kind of tie in nicely if we have a security officer to give them access to things. For example, we've been broken into in one of our facilities multiple times, and we were lucky to recover some of the items, but without surveillance, you are limited on, you know, punishing somebody for and knowing who did it and what they took. So
this is something that we can definitely say that if we're putting it in COVID, it will be used in COVID. We won't
Yep.
lose that money.
Yep.
Okay.
What was the cost for the service from now, just the service alone?
You guys authorized 10,000 for the rest of the fiscal year. And we averaged about 12 to 13 previously. But that didn't include any licensing or anything. It was just to manage and to give everybody emails at $10 a piece per month. And I think he said he could get the emails down to lower than that 7 or so for everybody.
And that would be giving the commissioners emails too. So they're not-
The more you use, the more we pull together our resources, whether it be library for, video surveillance or to get everybody on the same internet with the better deal that we can get. So like if we were to even partner with the water district for, things we can get cheaper.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, one of my concerns is that, we don't find out later, this is $50,000 we can't use for COVID and have to return 50,000.
No,
So,
there won't be any return money.
and now are you making that same statement with the public safety? That none of that would be returned? That you could actually get this covered?
It depends which way do you want to go. If we're doing private security, I think that's a lot easier to find than to put a job description out, do some hiring, find out you didn't recruit anybody. You could get a quote and find out who could provide the service that you're looking for. That would be a much easier obligation than hiring an employee.
So we would be hiring just a safety officer that goes around and says, don't do this, don't do this, type of thing. But he wouldn't have any law enforcement.
What they can do is, like you said, politely ask someone to move along, they can also be a presence. So if somebody's doing something crazy, they can literally pull the car up there and park there and videotape the whole process, so we have some way to stand on.
That would be a good intermediate.
It's pretty short term,
And
We just gotta understand, we got 45 days.
Yeah, well, with what Adam's talking about, that's easy to do. Sounds like.
You have to expend the funds by September of 26. So you get into the agreement. It's not that
Yeah.
I thought it was the end of the year, I'm sorry.
No, you have to obligate
Okay.
and be into an agreement. And so you could spread some of that out over time.
We could potentially sign a 3-month contract, see how it goes, and
Yeah, I know like our old HOA, we used to have some guy who walked around and was a president.
Now, did they actually contact somebody and said, okay, this is what they could do, or just make it up 4 hours per day?
yeah, he got a very basic quote and is still working on gathering. But the initial quote was $40 an hour, 4 hours a day, $3,600 a month. We would choose which hours. And I would imagine which areas that we wanted focused on,
Or have a couple.
or if funding's there, we pay for more hours, or, it just depends on what kind of funding, what we feel like useful.
So now also with public safety, I know a code enforcement officer would be really good. So can we get a job description together and be able to obligate it, you just need to interview out there, or does he have to be hired?
It's pay. So as long as you're allocating pay, which we didn't already do in the budget. I don't know. Is it on?
No. It is on, you need to speak into it.
So it's just a matter of saying in our budget, we are hiring.
No, not for it to be just in your budget for us, to probably have a resolution, which I can bring to the next meeting, that allocates all of the different pay. Everything has to be either an intergovernmental agreement, pay that's allocated, just simply being in your budget is not enough.
Right. Okay. So you'll need some type of approval from the council.
So I need input on what that public safety looks like for you guys. And so that I can bring you something that is.
Right. So if we do. Here's my thoughts. If we do the cyber, which we know we can get it out in COVID money, and we do public safety also, and change the amounts for public safety, just bring it down a little bit to cover the cyber. I think we'd be pretty much spent, because it doesn't sound like a public officer would be that much, right, Counselor?
I mean, that initial information makes it sound like it's about 10 grand every 3 months for a situation at that minimal level. That's what I would say.
But what are,
Council plan?
I'm sorry, contact information for these people can get that.
I can get that. Like I said, that citizen is gathering the details. Didn't want to write it for tonight's meeting, but they do want to bring us some. Yeah, we can continue to gather information. See.
And Carolyn?
okay,
Oh, we're good, okay. Okay, any more discussion on the ones that we're not talking about would be the bonus incentives and the council commission split. Any comments from any counselors on that? Take that as no. Does anybody want to start making a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion that the city council approve or allocate the $30,000 towards the cybersecurity increase.
To the COVID fund.
So that we're allocating that from the COVID funds.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, all in favor of allocating $30,000 to the,
Mayor.
sorry?
Discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, discussion. Is there any discussion?
That was, we were at about 105 prior to that, correct?
now, we were also talking about a copy or something that goes on top of this, correct?
Yes,
Wasn't that?
yeah, LCOG would help.
But that's on top of this, correct?
In it, well, it's included.
It can be included. Bay Area Copiers is currently our service provider. And we don't have to use them for the copy machine, but I can allocate that pretty quickly from either vendor.
Yes, okay.
I guess the question though is, do we need to add that $2,500 a year or whatever on top of that 30?
If you were to add an extra $200 a month for a copy machine, then that would be super helpful.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. So I could amend my request to say that I move that the city council allocate $32,500 towards the cyber security and the IT increases, all of which coming from the COVID fund.
You second the amendment? Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. All right. The motion before us is to allocate code funds for cybersecurity at the amount of 32,500. At the amount of 32,500. It's open for discussion. No discussion. It's now open for a vote. To allocate COVID money for cyber security at the amount of 32,500. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. So what do we left? What do we got left?
And it was brought to my attention during the short break we had that potentially we should try to allocate one alternate type project just in case one of these falls through. That way we have something ready to fill a hole if one of these doesn't work out.
So let's finish the balance here on what we have and then we'll decide on what our alternatives.
I got a question.
Sure.
We were talking about that sewer plant person. Does that actually come out of the COVID fund or is that coming out of actually the sewer plant fund?
So that is an additional amount coming out of the COVID fund for 4130. That's the premium pay, correct?
Premium pay, and it could be spread out over 2 years.
And then the rest of it comes out of the
Wastewater.
Wastewater.
Yes.
And in the future, will all be wastewater.
So that's.
But it's already there in your budget. It's already there. You're just dedicating,
Okay.
but also it would require updating the job description and it would require putting the increased pay to that position.
And it also require moving that amount of money from the general fund. To
No, it's already there.
COVID money is already there.
Well, the COVID money's already in your budget and it in the wastewater, it is already allocated to spend that amount of money for that position. Because that position used to be a full-time position. And it is not, there's nobody in that position right now.
Okay. Well, I think the final COVID project should be public safety. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
I agree.
I agree.
So does somebody want to make a motion? What are we at there? 7250, right?
I would move that we allocate the 72.5.
Yeah, I think so.
72.5 for public safety.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
It's open for discussion. Would any of the counselors like to make a statement? Oh, discussion is, I'm sorry, yeah.
Now, how many bids are we talking about? Still have to get 3 bids on this if we're gonna go, security.
If we consider an emergency.
And what I think we should do, sorry, is to I'll put all of this in a resolution declaring an emergency.
Yeah. So does that close discussion? Or close it on discussion with that item? Okay. So we're putting it up to vote on public safety to allocate the remaining COVID money of 7250. This is 72,500. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Adam made a very good suggestion about having an additional project.
Yeah.
Just in case there's some COVID money that we can't allocate in the time period allotted. I'm open for suggestions.
How about, the heating or the downspouts for a community building.
I thought we were gonna use the building maintenance one on that.
Does that cover? Is that actually for the bid that they put out? Included?
Well, when we were doing building maintenance, I thought we were going to include the heating and the downspouts. Or is this some more? I mean, we have almost $100,000 in building maintenance. Do you think we're gonna go over that?
So what,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yes, but that gives us what, another 25,000 over than what we have right now? Is
Yeah,
that-
we can do something for 25,000 if you want.
So you can update the heating and downspouts for 25,000?
I think the heating was 25 itself.
That's what I'm bringing a lot. I don't think that money is gonna match what we have to pay to put a heating system in there or downspouts.
Oh, okay, so what you're saying is you don't think the 99,900 for building maintenance is gonna cover all of our needs for the buildings?
It's hard to say. I mean, you were talking
Well, no,
about a backup plan, and that's my opinion.
I'm just saying, yeah, I'm just saying what you're saying. I was just repeating what you were saying. I just wanted to make sure I was clear.
Yes.
in what you were saying. Okay.
Maybe we go through a little bit more detail about building maintenance, make a motion to like, what is the priorities in building maintenance so that we're really clear about the direction that we're supposed to go.
Do we have a list of all the things that we need to do?
Well, it sounds like everybody has different ideas of what building maintenance is.
Well, we know the roof is gonna cost close to $100,000.
But that's separate.
No, I understand, I'm just saying, but then there's that potential for God knows what under that roof. So maybe we would, for a backup project, could allocate some funds to the repair of the physical structure if that comes up.
The initial bid that I got, which I don't feel like I should bring forward, but it was 38,800 to redo the roof.
That's in contrast to the bid we got a while back, it was 80 plus.
And we don't know. I mean, I'm good to be sure, and these amounts, they sound large, but, it's been my experience that things can greatly exceed
Exactly
what we have on there. So,
Well, I think it would be a good idea to prioritize our building maintenance instead of just being general, I guess. I don't know how much you can prioritize with that, but let's just put the items that we're talking about in building maintenance. Electrical, right? That's one of them.
Heating, plumbing,
Plumbing.
downspouts.
So what's going on with the plumbing?
Yeah.
No, but it's one of those things, if we need to spend some money, real
Yeah.
quick, I'm sure there's plumbing that could be updated over there.
If you're talking building maintenance,
But there's nothing wrong with the plumbing right now. So,
I don't know.
yeah, okay, so we don't know on that one, but we definitely know the electrical's bad and the heating is bad.
Yes.
So we got those, and then we can put plumbing down in another column. What else is bad? Heating and air conditioning, we got that.
Windows.
Windows. That's
What about security for that building?
That not included in our cybersecurity, with the cameras around, everything.
Is that a yes?
Yes, yes, it is included.
Okay.
Yep. It will include north site, wastewater, and here, all of the facilities here.
Potentially camera on the bar.
I don't
So,
know.
So I have electrical, heating, windows, and plumbing.
Gutters, downspouts. I'm not sure if that was in the bid for it or not.
I don't know. Give me that.
Here.
So gutters, downspout, that's not included in the.
I'm not sure. That's what we want to bring up. Is it included in the roofing?
Yeah, I guess it will.
Yeah, usually, like, say, kind of put a roof on your house, they're not gonna throw the gutters in.
I don't know, I get fortunate enough not to have to do that.
Sometimes they do contract out to another company to bring gutters. It depends on what you're looking.
I think we're gonna include,
We're gonna include the gutters.
yes. Got to separate, the different bit process. Yeah, that's why we got them separate. Right. And that's why we took both those up to the next.
So what is the order that they go in? Is it gutters then electric?
I would think it would be electric. Either windows and heating. Well, you need gutters. So gutters, electric, and then I don't know where the windows and heating on.
Gutter is gonna be least expensive.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's cheap.
Or if we had to pay for that otherwise,
Yeah.
that would be the thing you'd want to pay for other than like.
Right, but if we upgraded the heating system in there, I don't know what we have right now for a heating system. Baseboards. What's the cost difference between the baseboards we have right now compared to the new heating system that would go in? To save the city money.
No, that's how we get them in.
Baseboard is one of the highest heating.
That's not.
Well, that's why you do it. You replace windows and the heating system to eliminate what we've got.
Windows.
Windows.
Yeah, windows. That's it.
But staff is checking in to see if we can do a weatherization program with PUD to help.
What about timing?
Well, either way, I don't know what kind of program is out there.
So are we good with doing electrical, heating, windows, gutters? Because gutters, we can always find the money to do it in our regular budget. And plumbing.
Are you talking about the?
Yes, within those. Is that good?
Sorry, so just so I'm clear, we're doing gutters 1, electric 2, heating 3.
No, gutters last because
Gutters
we
last,
can probably pay for that ourselves.
Okay, electric is 1,
Electric. Heating,
heating.
windows.
Yeah, and then gutters,
And then-
and then you mentioned plumbing, but like I said, yeah. Okay. We still don't have an alternate. Do you think we are gonna go over with what we got now?
Yes.
Okay, so we probably don't need an alternate. Okay, so,
May I ask a question, please?
okay,
What happens if the roof or the maintenance goes over what we've allocated it for? Where are you gonna come up with money?
we'll have to find it somewhere. This is
Get
what we
rid
got.
of public safety. All they're gonna
Okay.
do is the fence.
That was your question, right?
That is
You
my
asked the question. That was it.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this exercise is to make sure we spend the COVID money. We go over in items, we go over. And we'll have to find it somewhere in the budget. This is what this exercise is about. Okay, so I guess we're set. We motioned everything we need. Any further discussion from council on this?
No, we need to get it moving. Get bids and
So, I have a feeling we're going to need to make sure this keeps moving. And I propose a special meeting so we can sign whatever resolutions, whatever we need to do this. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Maybe,
The week sounds good to me?
Yeah, sure it's possible, yeah.
we're gonna have time to get some quotes.
Yeah. So I don't have the calendar in front of me. I got the calendar in front of me.
Twenty-first.
So the 21st. I am fine with that. How's everybody else?
Oh,
Is it?
sorry, 28th.
So it's gotta be like the 26th because of Thanksgiving, or we go into December. Let's do it the 26th. Yeah, Tuesday. (6 o'clock), the only item on the agenda for the special meeting will be COVID money. And to make sure that all the pieces are together and that we actually get obligations out at that time. Okay. 26, 6 o'clock.
1,800.
So that, as long as everybody's okay, I'm gonna close this agenda item. We're all good? All right. Okay, so this has been ordinance, 2404, an ordinance amending chapter 55 of the Lakeside Municipal Code. This has come before the council, what, 3 times now? We've had to send it back to the planning commission and make sure all of our notices are correct and everything like that. So, DLCD was noticed in June. It went out to the world news in August, was tabled from October 10th. 2024 meeting was posted in the town on October 31st. 4 copies have been available at City Hall, open public hearing ordinance 2024-4, public comment. Closed hearing on ordinance 2024. So we do have open public hearing on this ordinance. So anybody would like to make comments on this ordinance?
Is it supposed to be out for 20 days before you can move on it?
It's been out for 20 days. It's been up for months. I just got to make sure that. This is something that's come back. We posted it. It's been up for quite a while. It's coming back. So. Public comments on this ordinance. This is the food truck one that we've been dealing with forever. Oh, it's not a food truck. No.
Temporary uses.
Yes, temporary uses of all time. Exactly.
I think you need to read it, Mark.
The ordinance?
Yep.
Does any councilors want to have a whole ordinance read?
You can read by title. I think.
Yeah. You are correct. So I will read the title now.
Mayor, may I ask that you open the hearing at a particular time? Open the hearing at
Oh, at
8:27.
8:27. Thank you. Okay. Okay, the title of the ordinance is ordinance 2024-4, an ordinance amending chapter 55 of the Lakeside Municipal Code.
155.
0.155 of Lakeside, I should know that, right? The Lakeside Municipal Code. All right, whereas the Lakeside City Council has recognized the need to address the mobile food units and transient businesses in its Lakeside use regulation. Now and therefore, the city of Lakeside ordains the following. All right. It's now no public comments on this. Okay, I'll close the section of public comments. And do we have a motion, or does anybody want to, does any of the councils want to read this out? No? Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion? What's that? Yeah, oh, I closed the public hearing.
At 8:28.
2028.
8:28.
8:28, okay. Nobody wants to make a motion?
I move that we pass ordinance 2024-04. Amending chapter 155 of the Lakeside Municipal Code.
Okay. I will now open up it up to public discussion. Do any of the councilors have any comments on that? Discussion by the council. The public hearing is closed.
Yeah, I know this has been in progress since in June of last year. I know there's been lots of discussion about it. I feel like from my perspective, we worked out the vast majority of my concerns. And I think it's good to go forward.
Did anybody ever make a? Okay, there was seconded, okay. Any other discussion from councilors? No? Okay, I will go ahead and close public comment. So before us is the passage of ordinance number 2024-04. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay, Randy. It's finally passed. All right, new business. We're tabling the FEMA citizens request is done. The request of council for moving forward on state of Oregon collection PLP revenue. This is, are we requesting, this is just a motion to move forward with this, to get all the information you need, so you can put together what's necessary.
Would you like more information about letting them collect, okay. And I don't think you need a motion. I thought it was well understood what they do.
What they did. Oh, what the state does.
Correct. For collecting your TLT dollars. When you sign up with Department of Revenue, they do enforcement of illegal Airbnb, short-term rentals. They help collect your dollars. They make sure that the people that are submitting their reports are actually being honest in their reports. And it helps the Planning Commission understand how much illegal activity is happening outside of the people that come to get.
And the nice thing is it's 5%. So think of 5% on $100,000, that's $5,000. If we get 2 people to pay what they should be paying, pays for itself.
Plus enforcement.
Plus, you get rid of all the administrative.
And it goes, when they issue the funds, it goes directly into your LGIP account. So then it starts collecting interest
Right away.
right away.
So you are looking for just for a council consensus?
Well, tell me, if you need more information, I'm happy to bring you more information. Otherwise, I would like to just move forward with letting them.
So all in favor of moving forward?
Are there any cons?
No. Other than paying for it.
5%.
Yeah.
5% if you don't get any more revenue out of it. That seems pretty unlikely. Okay, so what do you guys think? Are you in favor of moving forward with this?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay, we've moved the ARPA forward and we've got that done. This is resolution actually 2024-11. Yeah, it's not 7, it's 11.
That was supposed to be a change to the agenda. That 24-07 was your budget resolution.
Okay, so why don't you discuss this?
I have information from the attorney. So the attorney says that neither the city charter, the rules, or the code specify that the recorder administrator had the power, but in 1987, the council passed a salary administration plan, ordinance 87-124, that proclaimed the city council shall establish the plan by resolution. And that as far as he can tell, the council never adopted such a plan. That ordinance was repealed by resolution 09-16, August 13th of 2009, designated Charlie Hill as city recorder administrator, indicated his duties or her duties. And then in resolution 7-13, the council set staff wages for fiscal year 2007 and 2008. In resolution 08-08, the council set wages for the year. And what he is saying is that the portion in the charter that says that the council is to set the wages is to be interpreted liberally, to be able to give authority to do that. It makes turnaround time a lot quicker, keeping job descriptions updated. And I could do them one at a time, but since I have been here, I am now hiring for 2 positions. And as the staff keeps moving around, the duties have changed from the person that was here before me. The duties were different for the clerk, for billing, and as it is constantly fluid, they need to be updated so that they're accurate. And it also was depending on what you guys wanted to do with your COVID funds. If we were doing code enforcement or something like that, it was gonna allow me to be able to go, take care of that.
Okay. Any other questions from the council or anything like that?
Make sure that I understood it correctly. And you're saying that the city attorney says that the city manager could be empowered to act in accordance with this resolution, but that wouldn't be a charter violation.
Correct, and he's also approved the resolution.
Will that require a change to the city charter?
No.
It seems to be contradictory to me.
I feel the same way, and I feel like page 3, section 11 just makes it super clear. I don't understand how there could be.
Yeah, I feel that way also.
Okay, so, do we have to bring it up to a motion?
If you want to reject it, sure.
Or we can just let it sit, either way. Does anybody want to make a motion? No motion, item's dropped.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like the sticking point, so. Sort of updating job descriptions. For filling staffing positions is necessary. We already have that authority.
No. It's not been very clear. Your rules say that I have some authority. However, if you look at the rules to encourage, I forget how it's worded, to encourage staff, how do you do that? If I say this person deserves a promotion or what they can do to have a promotion, but yet, hang on, let me go ask counsel, it sort of undermines the management theory. But I am responsible for the budget, and here's the caveat is that I am supposed to be responsible for the FTEs that are in the budget, and you have none. So I don't know how many I'm supposed to stay under, and when we redo the budget next year, there will definitely be FTEs, if not in the supplemental budget, so that you can say, yes, this money is allocated for this many positions, and we don't go over that. So I'm entrusted to make sure I don't go over it anyway. But as I need to encourage my staff to do better, hang on, let me go ask counsel. It seems like there isn't really authority to help bring people along.
So would there be some way that we can set ranges? Because typically businesses are set up with a range. With that, if we did something like that.
And you should have had a salary schedule with your budget.
Yeah, so if we did something like that, yeah, salary schedule and saying, hey, the council decides what the salary schedule is and everything like that, I think that would be something maybe in the future that would be workable.
We have to make a provision. We have to make a provision for it somehow.
Right. And then we'd make provision at that point. Okay.
That would solve the problem with the charter, if we can do that.
Yeah.
But we need to change, we can't just pass this ordinance without.
Right.
So if I bring you a salary schedule, are we wanting to do it next budget year, next month? What are we, I don't want to do work if nobody's interested in.
Right.
It's just about our plate right now.
Yeah, I don't think we have any time to do it this year.
Okay.
But next year we should definitely do something like that, because when your hands come to the point of, well, this is the exact amount,
And again, part of that was, I wasn't sure if we were hiring for a code enforcement officer and how quickly I needed to turn that around. So,
So you might have to bring us job descriptions and special meeting. With the mouth, right? If we're gonna have a code enforcement officer.
And what's the qualifications for a code enforcement officer? She's gonna show me that.
And that's actually what different group of this resolution came to us. That authorized you to update job descriptions, fill staffing. Leaving salary.
partially. Yes,
Partial is better than nothing.
updating job descriptions would be a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh. Yep. Some special case, I would think the city manager would win that. For the council. Any reasons?
Yeah.
So if we were to amend this resolution by crossing out near the second whereas to word assign annual and new higher salary.
That is agreeable for me, sure.
So we'll talk about it, and you can add that item on the special meeting.
Right now,
You want to do it now? Okay.
do a motion to it.
Let's make a motion that we pass resolution 2024-11 amended such that the words assign annual or new hire salaries is removed from the resolution.
Second.
Okay, we're open for discussion that we just had. The counselors like to make any suggestions or comments?
I think it's still gonna need some further work as far as pay scale at some point.
Right.
Yeah. Pay range, yes.
Right, because this would let her move forward with the job description.
That would be, yeah, I think that would help some. Okay, so, we're still on discussion. Would anybody else like to? Any additional comments? No? Okay. The, resolution up for vote is the motion on resolution number 2024-11 amended to exclude assigning salaries. Is that correct? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Reports, airport report. Right, okay. Watershed report.
The Benson Wetland Restoration Project is complete, and I saw pictures of it. It's doing what it's supposed to do with recent rain and water capturing the sediment, keeping it from going into the lake. Land acquisition at Big Creek is complete, and a similar project will start there in the spring of next year. Developing a strategic plan focused on community projects as well as watershed projects. More news to come on that. Algae blooms, you don't know about that, that's happening right now, but hopefully we get a little more rain and that'll clear itself up. Lake level is at 7.7. That works should be good.
Okay, thank you. Water District, President Pointer.
Water District met Tuesday and it was a peaceful meeting for a change. With all the interest in the rate increase, there was one person who And they weren't there for that. They discussed their upgrade status, they discussed the tank inspection and possible conflict with a cell phone tower upgrade that's going to happen. Did the regular business, and that was about it.
So when do they plan to have that under, this was just for infrastructure. In rates, they raised the rate for infrastructure, right?
Rebuild and also the plant. Okay, mainly the water pumps and tanks and some.
Okay. Just so we know. 10 Mile Lake Association.
Okay, on November 7th, the board passed a resolution that would reduce the number of meetings. Meetings will be at the Lakeshore Lodge at 5:30 on the first Wednesday of the month. We will meet in February, April, June, July, and August, September, and November. Other meetings could be called if need arise. These are always open to the public and we encourage their input. Also, they're still looking for volunteers for the 10 Mile Lake Association. It's always a great volunteer program they have, whether it's helping fundraising, physical cleaning of the lake, or working on a grant. They are currently looking for volunteers for the Earth Day cleanup coming up in April, and also the 4th of July fireworks fundraising.
Thank you. President Pointer.
Well, for the board meeting last night, I attended via Zoom. Was a discussion about the current state of the Coos Bay Container Port project and how that would affect the fire department. We had 62 calls last month, 34 of them on the north side, which emphasizes the need for another building over there. The haunted house, they had 408 visitors, which was down a little, but mostly that was because of the weather. That's what I.
Great, thanks. Lakeside Business Owners Association, Councilor Hand.
Last night we had our final meeting leading into the holiday events, and the details are finalized. Most important, I think, to share with the public is that on November 30th, there'll be a tree lighting down by the lodge. On the 13th and the 15th of December, there will be a 2-day holiday winter festival down there that includes a lot of really fun things. New this year is a children's carnival, and we are looking for any organizations, businesses, individuals who are interested in helping run one of about 10 different little games that we'll have at the carnival. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to any LBO member and they can get you in touch with Sydney, who is managing that part of the event. There is a holiday lighting contest for all of the homes within the city of Lakeside. So we really want to encourage everyone to light your home up as festive as possible. And there will be some judges going around at an undisclosed time and looking at the properties. And if you happen to be the winner, you might win one of 3 prizes that are cash. Other than that, we really just want to encourage everybody to come out and participate. These holiday events are a lot of fun, even though it's cold and dark, but we try to stay warm. Miles?
Thank you. And code enforcement. Nothing.
You got to yell loud.
May I ask a question about
Sure.
your report? When do you hold your meetings?
Second Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, the second Wednesday of every month.
And those are open to the public?
Yes.
And at what time?
6:30.
6:30? Thank you. And I'm sorry, where are they held?
We bounce between the lodge and Oscar and Croydon. They both have meeting rooms. Usually there's an announcement that goes out a week or 2 before the meeting. Goes out on social medias. And you usually get a pretty good attendance.
For somebody who's not on social media, where?
We do have a website. We
You
do
do?
a better job of putting the meetings on the website.
Thank you.
Okay, city manager report.
Would you like me to read it?
That's all right.
That's a lot. Can you just pick out a few of the items that you think is important? Everybody's got it in their packet.
Yeah. So again, I tried to, put out for the job. We are finishing up the OSHA requirements from the deans that we got there, putting into place safety meetings. Fire marshal came back around again. We're on the tail end of fixing those things. We're just down to some science, education, chemical program, hazard communication. The LOC conference was good. It again, pay attention to the coming up legislative sessions on revenue. I think that'll be really important this year. I think they're going to address maybe some people without tax bases, and then how to use your TLT dollars differently. They are going to advocate for using your TLT dollars on infrastructure and public safety. Here at the administration portion of the city would like to request some extra time off on either side of Christmas. I think it falls on Wednesday, so we have Christmas Eve, Christmas. And so if we could just take that time with our families, that would be greatly appreciated. The floodplain ordinance, I believe Henry was going to be on tonight to talk about that. Councilor Wood was also going to talk about it. Unfortunately, she can't be here. So I think everybody should read a little bit about that. What we're going to ask for is a moratorium on the ordinance, with the intent of passing the ordinance, but with more guidance from FEMA. And I did attend, I don't know if it's in here, I attended the South Coast Development Planning Conference, which was really informative. DLCD talked a lot about the Pickens and amongst other things. And I thought it was interesting. The incoming Commissioner Drew Farmer is going to reach back out to the tribes for policing. And so I thought we would wait and see what happens there. We don't have to wait to supplement their policing and then open up Wagon Wheel Road for funding. The elections haven't been certified. We'll have to bring that at the next meeting. But I did put the elections report in here, as well as the financial report, and the website's a little bit problematic for people that we contract out with, like LCOG for our city attorney and planner. When they can't find things like the Ziply franchise, it was great that there was somebody in the audience that knew the website so well that they could point to that. But for people who aren't as familiar, I wouldn't have brought that to you if we were able to find that. So we do have a franchise. It's not ideal, and we are seeking the funds that we have not been paid for the last 2 to 3 years.
Yep. There's some money. Get interest. All right. I'm just getting smart. All right, great. So we have the financial reports attached. Announcements. Now it's mayor and council comments. We'll start over with Mr. Caroline.
I just hope we have all this money spent at the correct time. I hope that everybody in the audience and everybody in Lakeside looks at what we've done with this fund. And hopefully they agree with us. I'm sure not everybody's going to agree, but we'll move on and do the best we can.
Thanks for participating, everybody. You really got good ideas and just remember, we all live together in the same town. We all want the same. Yeah.
Believe it or not, we do. I don't really have any comments tonight.
My comments really, I want to encourage the public to continue to come and participate in these meetings. It's hard for us to represent you if you don't come and tell us how you feel and what you think. At the same time, we really have to be better all around about how we follow the rules and how we speak to each other and treat each other.
And, yeah, I'd like to thank all of you for coming and participating in this. City council meeting. And when you go home tonight or tomorrow, whenever it occurs, next time you flush, give silent thanks to the staff members who made it fun.
Thanks everyone for coming and for all your input, and go home and get some rest, and may you sleep between dry dogs.
Thank you all. I close the city council meeting at 8:53.
Okay.